Hello everybody and welcome back to Manor Lords, where we are currently having 199 regional wealth over here. That's really solid. What that of course means is that we can afford to bring in, well, we've already got 2 livestock in our farm, but we can afford to do upgrades such as our forager hut, which we've already done. And that is, what were we going to spend this on? Hang on, I'm a little confused. I was going to spend it on something, for sure. I know I was. We can get rid of our clay furnace. We no longer, I think, have any clay for it. Let's double check that in our storehouse. Let's see, we've got roof. Oh, we do have clay in here. Okay, so we should have a family in the clay furnace for the moment. This mining pit, we should have a family in. This bloomery is being worked. The windmill is being worked. Okay, this is a large granary here. This is a large storehouse. Yeah, this is all fine for the moment. We have someone working in the weaver's workshop and in the saw pit. Cool. So we've got the wooden church, and I would like to get this burgage upgraded to a level 2 burgage. So we need fuel stall supply for that and food stall supply. We do have a family in the woodcutter's lodge. We may want to get a second one going there, just so that we have additional fuel storage, because we need more fuel and an additional type of food for this burgage. That may happen after we get this field completely done. We're still sowing it, by the way. It's June. So that's not ideal. It will be fully sown fairly soon. But that is a bit problematic. No doubt about it. So, out of curiosity, fields with the highest priority are taken care of first. Yeah, we should probably mark our... Well, actually, we might want to have this marked as lowest priority. I know that seems really strange. But, based on the oxen rules, if the oxen are going to plow these 2 smaller fields, if one ox gets assigned to the highest priority, then the next ox to the next highest priority, and then we plow by hand the lowest priority, that would mean plowing this field by hand. And that might actually be what we want here. So this would be like medium priority, and then this would be like high priority. So then this field would be high priority, this field would be medium, and this field of all things would be low priority. Now, that's going to be a little different out over here, where we're not exactly using the same system as we are in these other locations. Here we've got 2 wheat fields, and then we've got our barley and our flax field, right? So it's probably okay over here. We're getting this fully done by the end of the season anyway. That's not a problem. Out over here, I think we're just looking at throwing raw manpower at the problem. That's probably what we've got going on. But if you see here, this field is still being plowed in July because it's only putting 1 ox on the entire field. So I think what that probably indicates is that the field is too large and should probably be broken up. We'll look at doing that once this field is fallow. And these down over here, like this field might have a very similar situation, but this is because of the way that oxen get assigned to the field. This isn't a, like, field design problem. This is a game mechanic problem that I hope gets fixed later on. The way that oxen get assigned is very strange. No doubt about that. So this farmhouse is full at this point, as is this one. We'll harvest pretty quickly. So that is definitely noted. It is July at this time, and we almost have enough gold to pay our annual royal tax. So that's looking good. We just had a family move in here in Waldbrand. Where do we want them to go? That's an interesting question. Well, what do we need to go up to small town? We need 3 burgage plots to be level 3 or higher. So that's things like this over here. For that, we need tavern supply. We need a steady supply of ale, which tells me that we need to figure out what's going on with our brewer's shop, right? These guys are never apparently brewing. So what is going on with that brewery? Why are they not brewing? We have barley, but potentially barley is not what they end up wanting. So we're growing barley out over here, right? And this doesn't give us a tooltip on that. Is there maybe in the help system? Resources. Okay, let's check in here. Barley. Storage type, generic storage. It doesn't tell us what it's actually utilized for. Okay, so let's go for ale here then. Required for crafting, malt. Required for crafting, barley. So I'm assuming that malt is a processed form of barley. Does that happen in the farmhouse? I don't think so. Our barley has just been sitting here. So we need to process the barley into malt. We've got 25 barley here. We've got 54 barley here. I think our barley has just been piling up year after year. So what do we need to process our barley into malt? A malt house. That would make sense. Okay. It's fairly large. We could think about putting it, like, out over here. That would be a little strange. But I think that's probably about the best place for it. Would be about here or so. But what if we were to attempt to manually rotate it to go up over here, like this, and then we would connect it to our road network, like so. That should work just fine. So getting a malt house here seems relatively important. Now, we've got a similar sort of situation out over here. I don't think we have a tavern built here. So that's definitely noted. However, we could build a malt house here. That I would probably look to put up somewhere over here. So we'll get that going. And then we would also want a malt house over here. So that looks good. We can just put that right here. That seems okay. So we'll get that going. Wonderful. At this point, this field is fully sown, but we're not going to get much out of it. It was planted so late. This field is being sown currently as we speak. And there's a lot of people working on it, so it should get sown fairly quickly. It's very rainy right now, of course. It is currently going to produce 0 wheat. It was so late. Okay, so this large field, I want to put on low priority. These fields up here, I feel like should be at high, then at medium, and then we can leave this field at medium priority. This field, I want to be on low priority. Medium seems okay here. I think high priority here and ox on this field is pretty decent. And then this field, oh, that was on low priority. I see. We're going to move that up to like medium priority. This field is going to be low priority, as is this one. Medium here, high priority here, and high priority here. So the idea is we're trying to specifically force the oxen onto particular fields and have our idle farmers work on other fields so that hopefully the oxen don't fall massively behind and have our farmers idling. That's the idea anyway, because that's a big part of our problem right now. No doubt about that. So that is all relatively fine. We're going to need to get these malt houses completed eventually. And we'll definitely assign a family to the malt house as soon as that's done. But that'll take a little bit. It is, of course, July right now, and we don't quite have enough gold, but we will very, very soon. Yeah, our storage is full up over here, which is not surprising at all. This storehouse, however, needs to have people in it, and we may want to consider bringing a road up this direction. And I'd like to change the angle on this to be a sharper angle. And then bring it in kind of like that, with the idea being this be additional burgage space. So, we want to have a few additional people here. I guess this is okay? No, that's terrible. What would it look like if we just did this? That's better. And they even have some backyard space, so that can be like artisan housing. So that's okay. We can get going on that. Wonderful. So we'll get that started. And we are going to need someone working in this storehouse, of course. And we're also going to need more people in our trading posts. Well, actually, no, we do have plenty of people here. What are we at for stable space? 5 of 6? Okay. Let's bring in another horse over here to help out our trading. Excellent. Royal tax is increased to 423. That's okay. I wonder if that's based on our overall regional wealth of all of our regions. It might well be. But we appear to be going reasonably fine. But that does seem to be going up as our regional wealth goes up, so that might be how that works. We'll keep an eye on that and see if we can determine that for a fact. So, down over here, we would love to get this house upgraded, and actually we can. Do it. So, in order to get additional upgrades here, we need our burgage plots to be... We need 2 of them. We need 2 of these to be upgraded. And we're going to do that. Perfect. So that'll be fine. We are, of course, going to need a family in this malt house, which we will begin work on. And then out over here, we have this malt house, which we will definitely have a family in. And then we've got a malt house presumably done up over here, right? Presumably. It's not actually completed yet. Okay. They're still working on hauling the goods. Fine. That should be done reasonably soon. And I don't think we have a tavern over here as well yet either. We should probably work on getting that done eventually. A tavern here is probably fine. And then the tavern here already exists. We should probably have one somewhere over this way. Perhaps about here? But that's not a hugely high priority. Okay, how many families do we have in this farmhouse? Insufficient families is the answer, but, I mean, it's probably fine. That said, we may want to reduce the size of this field down to 2 fields. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to demolish this field, with the idea then being we're going to recreate the field, and that's going to go, like, up over here, and we'll just take it to, like, here. About 2 more good. Sounds good. And then we're going to have all of this be a field as well. Okay, that works. So that's fine for now. We're going to have these 2 separate fields. Many smaller fields, in my opinion, are likely more efficient based on the way that oxen get assigned. They're likely more efficient than one big field. Now, of course, we don't have fence up here. We're missing the fertilization branch. So we could fence up these fields, which allows to use a fallow field as a pasture, which rapidly restores lost fertility. Interesting. For now, we're not going to be doing that, but that is definitely an interesting upgrade that I hadn't noticed before. Cool. Yeah, we've got generic storage full over here. This is shocking. We're going to want to upgrade this to a large storehouse, and we're going to want to assign a family up over here eventually as well. But for now, that malt house is working, which means that this tavern is going to finally be working as well, which means that we should largely be able to get this going, except that we're lacking some clothing stall supply. Now, we do have this tailor's shop here, and that is producing clothes, which should be fine. We need some sources of clothing, which is specifically, yeah, shoes, clothes, or cloaks. Do we have a cobbler as well? I think we did. Yeah, we have a cobbler here. And they are, in theory, working on producing clothing. But all of the people are currently waiting. So what do we actually need for shoes at this point? Are we producing any? Let's check in our storage. I don't see any there. Let's check in our marketplace. So this is a clothing stall here. Okay, no finished goods there. No finished goods here. These are all food and firewood stalls. This is an abandoned clothing stall up here. Okay. So we currently only have 1 family in our weaver's workshop. We should probably consider putting in another family, or even 2 here. There we go. because we definitely need more clothing stall supply here. However, this is going to be shoes, clothes, and cloaks. We do have 2 sources, in theory. The cobbler's shop. But I want to know... Let's see, are shoes considered a resource? I guess they are. So is a dead body. Okay, that's exciting. Well, where are shoes in this, since it is not alphabetical? I'm sure I missed it here somewhere. Here's clothes. Requires dyes. That's probably a big part of the reason why that's not producing. Okay, that sounds good. But what about shoes? Shoes. Leather. Okay. So we do need dyes. That's not necessarily surprising. I know that a dyer workshop can convert berries into dyes. So that's absolutely fine. We'll just set that up right on over here. And that will start producing clothing out of our tailor's shops. We're lacking dyes right now, so they are not actually producing things. And actually, we should have known that because it says so in this tooltip. So, there's that. Cool. So down over here, requirements not met, yes. So that's understood. We're working on it. We do want to upgrade this wooden church, and we're going to get going on that. There we go. And we're going to continue all of this construction. So I want to check in on what's going on up over here in Waldbrand right now. How's this construction going? The answer is it's kind of not. There's not much happening here right now. Okay. We did finish up a burgage plot, but that is in this town, and that's a level 2 burgage. So let's take a quick look at what our setup is here. And we're also going to want to construct something here. This is probably going to end up being a brewery extension, but we're going to need some additional backyards. And none of these houses, I think, have enough space for backyards. That's understood. We did not want them to have space for backyards, so that's okay. This burgage here will not have enough space. We've only got this one. So with that in mind, what specifically do we need? Well, additional food types would not be bad, but we do have food sources. So that should be, in theory, okay, at least at particular times. So clothing stall supply is definitely something that's going to be needed, as is tavern supply. Now, we did just build our malt house down over here. So I think for the moment, we're probably going to want to put in, like, a brewery extension here. But that means that we have no one assigned to construction. Temporarily, I'm going to pull a family off of the farmhouse to be on construction. So that'll be fine, and this is going to be a level 2 burgage as well. We're going to want to construct some artisan burgages here. And I want to do that out over this direction. So they're just going to go about here or so. And then artisan burgages should have enough room about here or so. We're going to get going on all of that. Now, it's currently August. We're going to need to harvest the fields fairly soon. We can pull people from our mining pit eventually. I want to check in on this clay furnace. It requires refueling. There's 2 clay there right now, and there's still 23 clay in our large storehouse. Okay, so checking in on the stonecutter camp, it looks like there's nothing up here. So we should just demolish this stonecutter camp and have that family go on construction for the moment. That seems okay. Cool. So no problem there right now, and I want to head back over here. So at this point, we should be starting to get tavern supply eventually, specifically our brewer here. Yeah, our brewer is actually producing ale. So that looks good. The ale will have to be moved to the tavern, of course. But now we do have some tavern supply coming in. Perfect. Now, as far as this dyer's workshop goes, we are going to need to have some potential housing here. We've got a lot of backyard space over here. We probably don't need this level of backyard space, but it's fine for the moment. The question is, where are we going to get additional workers from? Like, where are we going to put more housing, right? We could put the housing up over here. That is a theoretical possibility. We could put in, like, no backyard housing right here and have it be relatively small, like this. It needs to be a little bigger than that. Yeah, something like this. So 4 additional burgages here with no backyard. Do it. So we're going to get that going and get some additional growth here. Now, we are currently on 3 months of food. Are we still grinding any of our flour? No, we are not. That is understood. Okay. How's our foraging going? We could definitely have more families be on our forager hut. That's for sure. And we can also continue to expand our gardens and such down this direction. So we have plenty of potential food sources there. But we're going to have this harvest fairly soon, and it's going to be a pretty good harvest, to be honest. We're about 3 days away from the harvest, and, I mean, this field is going to produce literally nothing, but, you know, it's fine. I'm going to be breaking up this field after it is completed. No doubt about it. We're going to harvest that field. It's going to produce very little wheat because it took us so long to plow it. But it's very obvious at this point that because of the way that resources get allocated, we want to have more smaller fields rather than fewer big fields. It shouldn't make a difference, but it does, just because of the way that the resources get allocated. So that's fine for now. We're going to be done mining our iron relatively soon. We've got 8 iron left there. But we're going to be pulling out of the bloomery and the mining pit for sure. And the clay furnace is almost done, I think. Yeah, there's still 23 clay here. But we can pull out of the clay furnace to help with the harvest. And that is indeed exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to do that now. We're going to get these guys unassigned. 1, 2, 3 families there. And we can assign 4 families here to help with the harvest. Now, we're not going to get much out of this wheat field. That's understood. Okay. So, treasury change has been registered. We have plenty for our tax. That sounds good. And construction has been finished of our dyer's workshop up here in Waldbrand. So, we want to have a family working in the dyer's workshop, but we only have the 1 construction family at this moment. It is now September, and we are heading out to harvest. So that looks good. The harvest has begun over here. Excellent. So I'm going to immediately mark these as wheat. This is going to be wheat and 17% and 20%. Okay, it's not amazing, but we're going to do something like that. So these are currently disabled. We don't actually want them to be disabled. Okay, that looks good. Now, down over here, we're going to have these fields be set up correctly. This is going to be barley. This is going to be wheat. This is going to be wheat. This is, I believe, flax. And this is, again, wheat. Yeah, that seems right. And then we're going to have these fields this year be fallow. And I think we'll divide some of these fields up as we go along. But for now, we're going to have to wait for this harvest to finish. Okay. This is a yield of 0 here. Do we even want to harvest that? I don't know. Well, this field should definitely be set up as... I'm going to have this one be our flax field. I'm going to have this one be our barley field. This is going to be a wheat field, and this is also going to be a wheat field. So something along the lines of that will do. And then this is going to be a fallow field. We don't want to actually plow this field. Okay, so this is going to be fallow here. Do not plow that field. Let's check in over this way. They're still harvesting this field. Okay. They did not finish this harvest. Okay, they're just charging off. They're transporting their wheat, I guess. So out over here, it looks like we do have some plowing beginning out this way. This field has been harvested. We're going to have that be fallow. And we can see that the ox begins plowing quite early on. The order that these guys are moving around is not tremendously efficient. This field is going to be fallow. Do not plow it. And we can see that the ox has started to plow this medium priority field, not the high priority field. That's interesting. I'm not sure why. Are they going to harvest this wheat field at all? It probably didn't have enough time to grow, did it? Maybe they will. Let's check in out over here. This field should be fallow this year. Okay, and then these are, of course, going to be harvested. This field also didn't have any opportunity to grow. So, down over here, we want these fields this year to be fallow. So all of these, do not waste any time plowing them. Do your plowing up this way. That'll be wonderful. So this is all set up correctly. This should all be set up marginally correctly. We'll see what they end up doing with this field. They're going to haul this flax first. It's okay. Are they going to do any harvesting of this field? Actually, yes. We can see that that yield did go up from 0, so that is good. We'll have some amount of wheat here. Okay. Out over this direction, this field is set to barley right now. It is currently being harvested. Let's let them finish that harvest. That should be good. Or very close to it. There we go. That goes to fallow. And now we're harvesting this field. I want to check in out here quick. Yep, this is fallow. This is going to be fallow. This field is unharvested as of right now. Okay. Cool. This field should be pretty much harvested now. It is indeed. That goes to fallow. And then there's this field, which is low priority. So that means that they're coming out over this way and harvesting. So fallow, 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 and then this one will need to be fallow. We're just swarming this field right now. And everybody abandoned the field and is now coming up here and swarming this field. I don't know why they do this. They waste a lot of time, to be honest. So that's definitely awkward. And we're still working on hauling our resources here. We don't have the plowing station, so this is all going to have to be plowed by hand. As soon as we're done hauling, then we should start to plow up over here. Okay, where are all of our people right now? They're back to harvesting this field, I guess, and they're leaving again. Now they're sowing this field. Okay. Well, sowing some fields is, I guess, okay, but we do want to harvest this wheat at some point. No doubt about that. There, we're plowing this? It hasn't been fully harvested yet. Why are we plowing this field? That's really strange. Okay, whatever. I mean, this field over here is at 53 out of 0. Things got awkward. No doubt about it, things got awkward. They forgot to harvest the rest of this field, and now I guess it's going to continue to grow? Okay, whatever. Sure. So this field should be fallow. I guess we should burn this field. They never harvested it. Well, that's just indicative of the fact that, like, this field should be fallow as well. We're going to need to burn... No, wait. This shouldn't be fallow. This field should be planted. Shouldn't it? These fields are fallow. This out here should not be. So this should be flax. This should be wheat. And this should be barley. Like that. Okay. I think we got this under control. Hopefully we can get all of that done before winter. We are still hauling the goods out over here. We've not started plowing these fields just yet. So that's definitely noted. We do have 5 available families. This is currently full. We'll deal with that, though, next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Tommy, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.